2018 is now called to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, I pray that this meeting is conducted in a spirit of unity and collaboration. I pray that you protect our citizens, protect our city, and protect those who serve. In your blessed name, I pray, amen.
Amen.
I'd like to welcome Councilor Hall. He is our new District 6 counselor. So when you get the opportunity, if you will just introduce yourself to Councilor Hall. I just wanted to recognize that today is his first official day.
Thank you.
We have a quorum. Comments of council members and special recognitions or resolutions.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilor Jones.
I had the honor Tuesday of going with two fellow counselors to a zoning appeal meeting on the property at 4300 Shadeland. It was a restaurant with a license to serve alcohol. They were trying to get that appealed to be a tavern bar, and myself and the other two counselors were able to keep it from going that way. And after the meeting, I talked to Mr. Calloway, and in talking to him, he had brought up the 42nd Street Studio Apartments and told me that it was continued till December 5th, which I've been following, and I had no clue that there was a continuance. Also, in talking to him, he also stated to me that he had met with the city council, the mayor, and several other people that were advocating to get this zoned multi-zoning. I myself was very baffled by this comment because I had not heard anything about this. And when he said fellow council members, I was not aware of it. I thought maybe since I have email problems, there was a problem.
I emailed that out yesterday when I got it from Larry Calloway.
Well, no, this is something totally different. This email was sent out by Steve Collier, the mayor, October 10th, 8:36 a.m., and there was only 4 counselors invited. It was the 4 counselors that weren't invited were Councilor Freeman, Williams, Jones, and Wells. We were not on that email, and we were not invited. So it just baffles me that if a council's invited to something, why we would not be invited. If it's that important and we're advocating for it, I would think that, we should be made aware of it also. And it's interesting that we were the 4 that voted no on that. So I would even think it'd be more important.
What were they invited to on October 10th?
It was a meeting that was held, I think it was Tuesday at 2 p.m. It was advocating for the rezoning of the 42nd Street Studio Apartments. Case number 2018-ZON-076. Thank you.
Any other counselors?
Madam President?
Yes, Councilor
I have a veteran that came up to me, and he wanted to know who was in charge of the Spring Valley Cemetery on the fort. It looks like it has some overgrown trees and shrubbery and grass and everything. He just wanted to know who was in charge of taking care of that. I told him I would get back with him on that. I found the owner of it, but I haven't got a response from her yet.
Thank you. Any other counselors?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilor Wells.
to parrot on what Councilor Jones said, I am a little perplexed as to why, 4 council people were excluded from that invitation. I understand that it came from the administration and, that this council doesn't have any control as to who they would invite to something like that, but I would think that one of the other counselors or our council leadership would have pointed that out, that possibly that the whole council should have been made aware of that. The whole council definitely got to vote on it in the beginning, and as Councilor Jones said, that there were 4 that voted against it. And I'm just curious if how we vote has something to do with how we're notified of these meetings. And I hate to think that that's the case, but it kind of leans to me to see it that way. And and I definitely need to get hold with the IT, because you said that the notification about Counselor Wheeler went out. I just went back through all my old emails. I do not have an email from you or from Kathy notifying about Counselor Wheeler, not about her resigning. And
Not sure if I sent that out or not. I thought I did.
You did.
Maybe I
You
didn't.
did.
I thought I did, okay. Because I also sent out the continuance for the 42nd Street Studio Apartments when I got it.
well, my other concern is, if, not knowing exactly when Counselor Wheeler resigned, I guess it was, if it was in fact on the 1st, and the fact that she was the council vice president, I'm just curious as to why we would not have voted on a replacement for vice president at that meeting, whereas we could have had this regularly scheduled meeting that's tonight, when we was supposed to be held yesterday, and all the council, well, we still would have been a counselor short, but I know it would have been a little less stressful for me to get here. I drove 7 hours to get here, and I guess Counselor Williams couldn't make it no matter what. But I was just curious as to if, in fact, or when are we going to do this replacement for council vice president?
First meeting in November.
All right, thank you.
Counselor
Madam Chair.
Giles?
I think that maybe I want to kind of, since this has become an issue, I want to make sure I clear the record with my involvement in the meeting. I was invited to the meeting and did not attend due to my work schedule, but I do find it very interesting. We've been dealing with zoning cases in this council for quite some time, and so my understanding of the zoning rules here is that when something comes in front of us, we vote to make a recommendation to the actual Department of Metropolitan Development or Zoning. They have the final say. So it would make sense to me if you are trying to pull together a group of counselors to advocate for the project, which is not in line with the recommendations of the city. Why would you invite people who've already said they're not interested in it? It seems to me you would only invite the folks that would be willing to go downtown, advocate for something, and why would you think they would advocate for it if they had their opportunity to vote and they didn't vote for it? So I'm only saying that because we have to, if you understand the process, then you might not criticize it. Thank you.
Any other counselors?
Madam President,
Yes, Counselor Wells?
I would like to just follow up on that. I understand the process quite well. We are all here to represent a district or the people that put us up here. We cannot do that when we are not made aware of meetings. I don't see systematically voting or excluding someone just because they may have had an issue prior to, when this was voted down to begin with. Had we have been invited to the meeting and had we not been excluded, my only problem with that, and not to go back through this whole thing, was the fact that we weren't told what exactly was going to happen with this property. Maybe they have come up with something, and maybe they're going to be more definitive as to what's going to happen, but there's going to be at least 4 of us that will never know that. And I take exception, Counselor, that you would be okay with 4 of us being excluded. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to, Counselor Giles?
One thing.
We're going to move on past this. I think it's as simple as we had the opportunity to vote on the matter and to take a position, and we did that. At that point, that matter is no longer before this council. Now, if there are council members who were in support of it, they were reached out to by the administration to attend the meeting. We have no more business as a council as it relates to this issue?
That's true.
Any other counselors?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Counselor Giles.
I want to say this. I'll say this in a general state. I represent District 1, and I represent, as well as I vote for all the issues in the city of Lawrence, but in particular, I was voted to represent District 1, and I know that there are times that there are issues in my district that relate to District 1. They may not relate to District 6, and I might get invited to issues that relate to District 1, but may not be invited to issues that represent in District 6. So my comment is not in particular of this situation, but I do want to make it very clear that in my District 1, we have a lot of problems in the city of Lawrence, so a lot of the magnifying glass is in my district, which in turn sometimes put me in the crosshair of issues in the city more frequently than not. Any counselor that wants to take interest and more interest in my district, any counselor that would like to serve as a proxy for me at that time, I feel free to represent me. Thank you.
All right, any other counselors?
Madam President, one more thing, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Counselor
I'll
Lewis.
make this brief. It was my understanding that the property on Shadeland Avenue, the one that was the Marion County Police Garage, and I have to apologize, I don't have the exact address, but it was voted on by this council to give it to the RDC to sell. My understanding is that that property was in fact sold, and it was also my understanding that it is now given back to the city. Maybe under citizen or under the administration comments, if they could embellish on that as to what happened with that property, or do we in fact own it again? Was it in fact sold? I'd just be curious to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counselors? Okay, seeing none, next on the agenda is signing of vouchers, approval of claims, and authorization of payment. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Counselor Freeman.
Second.
Second, Counselor Parker. Any discussion? All in favor by show of hands? Unanimous? Next, we have unfinished business. Proposal number 7, 2018.
Proposal number 7, 2018, introduced by Counselor Wells, a proposal for an ordinance amending the municipal code of the City of Lawrence, Indiana to adopt a new chapter of Title III, Article 3, to establish standards for private event security and fines for public nuisances.
Proposal number 7, 2018 remains in code. Proposal number 18, 2018.
Proposal number 18, 2018, introduced by Councilors Chevlot and Giles, a proposal for an ordinance for appropriations and tax rates for the 2019 budget year.
Madam President,
Yes, Counselor Chevlot?
this proposal has been amended because of the date change, so I'd make a motion that we accept the amended version of Proposal 18 with the date change.
So there's been a motion to accept the amended version. Proposal number 18, 2018. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Counselor Freeman. You need to,
Do you want to note that Counselor Hall was also added?
oh, yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, he was added to the signature page in lieu of former Counselor Wheeler.
Wheeler, okay. Missed that, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, so other than Councilor Wheeler, then Councilman Hall was added as one of the sponsors.
Okay, and,
No, to the signature page.
Or signator, I'm sorry, signator, that's right.
okay, so we've got a motion, Counselor Chevlot, second, Counselor Freeman. Any discussion? Okay,
Madam President, are we discussing before we vote on this? Is that where we're at right now?
right now, we're just a motion to accept the amended version for the date change and for adding Counselor Hall in place of Counselor Wheeler. All in favor by a show of hands? Unanimous? Okay, now we need a motion to approve the amended version of proposal number 18, 2018.
I make a motion that we approve amended proposal number 18.
Okay, motion, Counselor Chevlot. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Counselor Giles. Discussion.
Madam President, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
So we already have a roll call vote set up here tonight. That's what we intend to do, so thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. There's been a motion made by Counselor Chevlot and second by Counselor Giles to approve proposal number 18, 2018. All in favor by roll call vote.
Counselor Chevis,
Yes.
Counselor Freeman,
Yes.
Counselor Giles,
Yes.
Counselor Hall,
Yes.
Counselor Jones,
I got a little bit of discussion. I may have went too quick. I met with Mr. Fenwick am I too late?
Yeah.
Okay, my vote's going to be no then.
Counselor Parker,
Yes.
Counselor Chevlot,
Yes.
Counselor Wells,
Mine would be no as well.
6-2, it is adopted.
Okay. Proposal number
And
18.
don't everyone leave, everybody has to sign it. There's 2 originals, please.
New business, there is none. We're adjourned.
What happened?
We said discussion. I said discussion. I was like,
There's 2 originals. Please sign the vouchers and sign the